Well, this isn't a new book. In fact, it was published in 2013. But I just reread it, and I figured what I'd do is put up a review on it. Now, what is it? It's volume 3 in Rick Atkinson's Liberation Trilogy. And that is fundamentally the history of the United States Army in World War II. This volume covers the period from D-Day through the surrender of Germany. The focus is almost exclusively on the Western Allies, and in particular on the United States Army. It's pretty clear Rick Atkinson is a big fan of the U.S. Army, and quite frankly, I appreciate it. Now, what are the good points in the book? Well, the first thing is, it is super, super well written. It's very fast-paced. It's at times very, very moving. You can't read it without feeling something about what's going on, whatever it is that he's describing. Really well done. Thoroughly researched. Thoroughly. I mean, this is almost a 900-page book, and he's got 168 pages of notes in it. So he's dealing with this stuff in a very, very detailed, very, very well-informed way. Now, the range that he covers in the book goes from, on one end, the weather, the terrain, and so on, and then you get in terms of the scope of the Allies, you go all the way from FDR and Churchill down to regular privates in the United States Army. Really, really good, powerful scope, powerful. Now, his focus, as you'd expect, is going to be mostly on the generals who are calling the shots. And I've got to say, his presentation of these generals is really, really great. I mean, he paints the personalities of these guys in a very balanced way. I mean, whether you're dealing with somebody like Montgomery, who most of the time comes across as a real bad guy and a pain in the ass to Eisenhower, Bradley, Patton, and so on, he kind of balances that out a little bit. And similarly, if you take somebody like Courtney Hodges, who seems to have been the worst of the U.S. generals during this period, even at that, he kind of balances it out a little bit. And of course, his pictures of Eisenhower, Bradley, and Patton, Dutch Coda, they're all extraordinarily, extraordinarily well done. Now, the only thing I'd fault in this book, and maybe it's my problem and not his, is I was sort of dissatisfied with the maps. I didn't think they were as clear as they might have been in presenting what was going on and where. And quite frankly, when I read military history, I'm sort of a fanatic in looking for good maps. And this one, I think, came up a little short. Now, like I say, maybe if I studied them a little further, I would have a different view. Okay, so this is a 3-volume history of World War II. Super, super vast event to cover in writing. When you look at single-volume histories of that war, some of them are pretty good. You know, like you take John Keegan's history of the Second World War, it's okay. But 3 volumes tends to give you a little more detail and gives the author the opportunity to cover a lot more. And when you think about 3-volume war histories, you know, the first one that comes to mind is Shelby Foote. Again, super well-written book. The research maybe not so good. The one 3-volume study that I would compare this book to, this trilogy to, concerning World War II, is Ian Toll's Pacific War trilogy, where the focus is on the United States Navy in the Pacific. Another one that's very, very well done, and they both stand together in my mind as in terms of being excellent, excellent histories. Now, Rick Atkinson has written some other books that are quite good. One is In the Company of Soldiers, which covers his period during the Iraq War with General Petraeus, when Petraeus was commanding the 101st Airborne. That was excellent. And he's in the middle of another trilogy on the Revolutionary War. He's already published the first volume. The British are coming. And I'm eagerly awaiting volumes 2 and 3. Can't get them soon enough. But back to this one, The Guns That Last Light. Can't recommend it strongly enough. Can't recommend it strongly enough. If you have an interest in World War II, if you have no interest, skip it. But otherwise, this book is great. Thanks for watching. I'll have another book review next week. Check back in Sunday morning.